you.
Absolutely fabulous, and there we are, spot on time. Right, we are still on the same agenda item, which is relating to the Emergency Act of Trouble Fund, agenda item number 14. Mike Cumming was the last person to speak.
Was I cut off in my prime, or did everybody hear me?
We all heard you.
We all heard you.
I'm delighted to say that we all heard you. Therefore, next to speak we have Councillor Kimmants, please.
You caught me unawares. I was mouse chasing, and I do apologise. Russell, thank you so much for what you did with the taxi drivers in King Street. That was absolutely, I mean, it was off the cuff. You did it straight away. It saved them losing their livelihood. The main reason for me wanting to speak was that disabled bays that have been moved from King Street round to Church Street, there is a bit of an issue. One, there's only 2 rather than 3, and also that they're on a gradient, which if you're disabled and you have trouble walking, or you have a power scooter, or any other issue with walking, on that gradient to park your car and then walk down. I mean, it was absolutely fantastic when it was where it was opposite Boots, but where it is now, it's just it's not fit for purpose. So I'm hoping that that's going to get rectified. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kimmants. The disabled bay in Church Street obviously is only of a temporary nature, and will be reverted back to King Street in due course once the scheme is removed. So we do understand, obviously, and we were trying to make it as close as we could, but absolutely we understand the difficulties that some people may have exiting their vehicle on a gradient. So that will be removed and replaced back in King Street.
Thank you very much for that, Russell and Councillor Kimmants. And I note the work that Russell, Ashley Kimmants and Jonathan Pohl did there with the taxi drivers, and thank you very much for your point, Ashley. Next to speak, I believe I have Mrs. Prendergast.
Thank you, Chairman. Councillor Kimmants has picked up on one of the points that I was going to make. So I'm just focusing on Earl Street. So whilst I know that there was a net gain in disabled parking spaces, Councillor Kimmants has mentioned Church Street, which isn't ideal, and another space in the King Street car park. Now that we're retaining the Earl Street scheme, I just want to know what's happening there, because I had a number of my residents who travel from this area, from Headcorn, on a regular basis, who are using the Earl Street one because it's really convenient, close to the shops. Now, at one point, I know there was talk of putting in 3 spaces outside the Hazlitt to compensate for this. Will this be implemented now that the scheme is going to be kept in place? I just need some reassurance on that, because there was some talk from 1 or 2 of my residents about disability legislation having been breached, and I just want to make sure that we're doing the right thing for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Prendergast. I was under the impression that the bays outside the Hazlitt had actually been marked already, and way before Christmas. So clearly, I haven't been to Maidstone for some time at the moment, so I can't say whether that is the case or not. I mean, if they haven't, then clearly I'll get onto that tomorrow. But if someone could confirm, then I can action that.
Okay, I too am following government guidelines and not travelling unless it's absolutely essential. So I haven't been to Maidstone for several months, so it would be really good if somebody could let me know in due course. Many thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, folks. I have been to that part of town recently, but I honestly couldn't give you an update on that. Next to speak, we have Mr. Chittenden, please.
Thank you, Chairman. I think just to say that everything's been said with regard to the disabled bays, and it's absolutely crucial that they, at the end of the day, everything goes back to either where it was or as suitable as it was. I must admit, I can remember when this problem first arose, that Clive and I did an early morning walk from one end of what had been put in to the other, and we came up with a full list which we passed of things which were really concerning, which we passed to Russell, and Russell took some of them on board immediately, and others was the promise of the revised design. It's been a toughie. I'll be glad. I think all of us will be glad to see the back of it. And one thing I know KCC learned very quickly, having taken down them from 5 different boroughs, is don't do it again without public consultation. It's just not worth it. Public should always be consulted on things like this, unless of an emergency nature. So thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chittenden, and I think I have to sort of defend the officers here. I think this is quite a good news story, and I think there has been a lot of learning in that respect. And I know this initially caused a degree of anger, and I thank Russell very much for and his team for learning from this, and I'm sure going forwards we're going to get this right. Next to speak, I have Mr. Daly. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman. It was only just to say that in the question of putting in cycle lanes, I do realise that there's this, as it were, desire to get people to ride bicycles. But the fact of the matter is that there are very few, in traffic terms, as a part of the traffic that we have in central Maidstone. Bicycles and High Street, particularly in King Street, you very, very rarely see bicycles, other than, I would tell you, 14-year-olds doing wheelies between the traffic and enjoying it. But quite frankly, when this cycle lane was being talked about, I did ask the question as whether or not there had been a survey done as to how many cycles were going to be using it, and I was told quite bluntly, no, they hadn't, and they got no idea, absolutely no idea. But it's actually worked out to the fact that it's very, very few, and in that regard, I think that the thing should be removed as quickly as possible. But as a blue badge holder, personally, I do thank anybody that does remember that disabled bays are therefore people who are in some form disabled, and they do have to, if you're going to move it from one place to another, please make sure that it's not moved too far away, because generally speaking, when they were put in close to the shops or to other places that a lot of people do wish to go to. So that's that. But on the question of the cycle lane, as I say, this business of trying to get people to take a modal shift and get on bikes is just not going to happen. So the cycle lanes in the centre of Maidstone, quite frankly, are, I think it's called pie in the sky, but I mean, they're not really required. If you see a cyclist, he'll be somebody to be noted. You don't see that many. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Mr. Daly, and I certainly endorse everything you say. Well, thank you very much, everyone, for your comments on that, and I really appreciate Russell for introducing this. This is a report for noting, therefore I move that this report be noted.
Noted.
Agreed, Chairman. Noted.
Noted.
Perfect. Thank you very much, everybody. Next item on the agenda is item number 15, which is the update on the Leeds Langley Relief Road, which is relating to the Joint Transportation Resolution on the meeting on the 14th of October. If I call your attention, the JTB did request that this be made a formal Cabinet member decision by the Cabinet Member of Highways at Kent County Council, and we did write to Michael Payne, the Cabinet Member, as such. He has sent an email in response, which I understand has been distributed to everybody. In summary, what the email says is that this doesn't need to be a formal Cabinet Member decision. However, there is a commitment there to the working between Kent County Council and Maidstone Borough Council to ensure that, to give us assurance that we will work together, and any decisions which are made relating to the local plan review and future local plans will be accepted by Kent County Council, and there will be joint working. So unless anybody has anything to comment on that, And I don't see that anybody has requested to speak. I therefore I move that this email and this report be noted.
Noted.
Thank you very much, everybody. And therefore, we move on to item number 16 on the agenda, our last meeting. And I move, therefore, that this is the Maidstone Highway Works Programme. And I move, therefore, that this report be noted.
Just say thank you to the officers. They've done, in fairly short notice, they've done a hell of a lot of work around various areas of Maidstone with full resurfacing. Now, I know it's cheaper and it's quicker when there's no cars on the road or limited, but I just want to say thank you for all the work that's being carried out, including the larger scale patching, etc. I think they've worked wonders amongst everything else. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and that extends to the cleansing as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jindon, and thank you very much, Mr. Cook. That concludes the business for this evening's JTB. And may I just wish everybody a happy new year, and let's certainly hope that at some point this year we're able to conduct this meeting in person, and that the situation actually allows us to do that. However, I now declare that this meeting is closed, and I hope that everyone enjoys the rest of their evenings. Thank you very much for your attendance.
Good night, Chairman. Thank you.